Hi, and welcome to LoHi Sounds, where in this episode we'll try to recreate two legendary pedals, the KLON and the King of Tone. So these are the components for the King of Tone, and what's important for this build are the diodes. Of course we'll need a few resistors and caps, and as for the OP amp, we will use a common TL072. We'll also use pots for volume, tone and gain, as well as toggle switches and a stomp switch. As you can see here, we use two position on-on switches for the diode selection. We'll solder everything on a strip board. We'll also need wires and LEDs. For the KLON side, we also have the same type of components. We'll use 3 OP amps, note the dual gain pot. As for off-board parts, we have the knobs, DC jacks and LED holders. As for tools, we recommend having a multimeter, solder, crocodile clips, heat shrink tubing, box cutter, drill bit, pen, a helping hand and obviously a soldering iron. So those were the components and tools we need for this build. And we'll start off with the King of Tone side. Start by cutting the strip board to size. Then we cut the traces carefully. We cut and solder the leads. And as always when we're doing something like this, double and triple check everything right from the start. We can't stress this enough. Some of you might already have noticed our mistake, the rest of you will see in a minute. And we're moving on to the first components, the resistors. One thing we learned from this build is that a nail clipper is the ultimate tool for cutting leads. It cuts close and is very easy to handle. Now we soldered caps. Sockets in place. Bending the trim pot to get it in place. And now it's done. Or is it? So, did you notice our mistake? After everything was soldered, we noticed that the strips on the entire strip board was oriented the wrong way, rendering the circuit unusable. I had to apologize to everyone with ice cream. Then we got back up on the horse starting from the beginning. So what's your worst soldering blunder? Leave a comment below. After the components are soldered on the circuit, we solder the wires and all the switches in order to continue with the testing of the circuit. Here we can see the switches with alternative clipping diodes being soldered. And yep, that seems to work. As you can see, we have socketed the diodes in order to try different ones and see what we like. The original King of Tone has some diodes which are almost impossible to get, so it will be interesting to see if we can get a good sound with these easily accessible diodes. Starting with the KLON. This time we made sure to triple check the orientation before cutting the traces. Here's a shot of the soldered leads before we go on to the components. And again, the nail clipper is excellent. This circuit has quite a lot of components, so just take it easy and be thorough to avoid any mistakes. Just like the King of Tone, the KLON has some diodes which are difficult to get today, so here we use the same approach of trying out some regular diodes to see if we can get a good sound with them.
Det är sjukt likt. Det är superbra där faktiskt.
When everything is done, it should look something like this. We ran out of crocodile clips, so here we soldered the DC jack temporarily. And it's finally time to try the circuit. Since both circuits seems to work, we move on to drilling the enclosure. This will be a very tight build, so it's important to be precise when drilling the holes so that all components will fit. And as always, the step drill is your best friend when doing this. White spray paint. In the best case, you're as good with graphics as with soldering. Otherwise, ask an artsy friend for help or use our illustration that we've linked in the description below. It is created in Adobe Draw and later edited in Illustrator. We printed the design on a transparent self-adhesive film, get rid of the air bubbles and cut the holes. After that, we spray with a matte clear coat. Time to start with the most difficult part of this build, the offboard wiring. First, we solder the switches. Here we have a cloth in order not to scratch the art on the enclosure. The helping hand is a great tool when soldering pots. The King of Tone circuit is quite small and should fit if mounted vertically by the foot switches. And make sure to use electrical tape to prevent shorts. Wiring each of the LEDs with a resistor in series. Here we use heat shrinking over the connections and the resistors to prevent shorting. Wiring the pots to the KLON. And now we should try to make this fit as well. Here we have an example of a low gain setting with the KLON. It fattens the sound and acts as a nice boost. Depending on what clipping diodes you use, you can add much more gain to the pedal. Thanks for watching. We hope you liked this video and that you give the build a try yourself. Like the video and subscribe to see when we add more builds to the channel.